you doing? Why are you on a country show?
Why not?
Because bunnies only like hip-hop.
That's hilarious.
Do you know what they call a truck-driving bird? A Conway Twitty.
Music detectives would like to shout out to Farmington, Iowa. Population 664. Salute! Welcome to Music Detectives. I'm Detective Tom. Can Conway keep up the momentum from his last album? Can he fully shed his rock and roll stereotype? So many questions. That's why we're here. So let's get some answers.
Now it's time for a Music Detective's detailed inspection.
We start things off with a Conway Twitty fan quiz. When Conway Twitty was born, he was named after what silent film actor? A. Buster Keaton, B. Charlie Chaplin, C. Harold Lloyd, or D. Roscoe Arbuckle? The answer is coming up later in the show. The first single from Conway Twitty Country album was Don't Put Your Hurt in My Heart. We see the Decca sleeve. On the back, it's a little different than the last one we saw. This one just focuses on guitars and phonographs. Let's take this one out and have a closer look at the dead wax. The magical area between the end of the song and the label, where we find matrix numbers, plate numbers, and the pressing plan information. Here we have the Lone 2, letting us know this one was pressed in Pinckneyville, Illinois. We also have a hole drilled through the label. No, they weren't releasing any pressure. This 45 likely ended up in a value bin. To mark that the record couldn't be returned, they drilled this hole through it. Another Conway Twitty writing under the pen name Mickey Jaco. Record World had the song as a regional breakout in July of 1967. It would move up the Record World Country chart throughout July and August, then peak at number 38 at the beginning of September. It would make a similar run on the Cashbox Country chart, and end up a little higher at number 35. Meanwhile, at Billboard, the song would get a little more love than the other two charts, making it to number 32 on August 19th. The flip side is Walk Me to the Door. Take a quick look at the dead wax, and yet another Conway Twitty written tune. But this one comes with a little more history. Conway wrote this one back in his rock days, and it was Ray Price who ended up recording the tune in 1962 on his Burning Memories album. Ray would take the song all the way to number 7. If the start of the show wasn't funny enough, we have more funny to cover now. Well, more precisely, Funny But I'm Not Laughing, the second single from Conway Twitty Country. Look at this sleeve. We can see someone got a little ahead of themselves. If we go right to the bottom, we see that it has a date of 1972. So yeah, this sleeve is not right for a 1967 record. Wrong sleeve? Bye-bye. You can see, once again, Conway using the pen name, which makes sense. It gives the record the appearance of having more variety by having different writers listed. Let's check out those matrix numbers, and we see our Pinckneyville 2 stamp. Cashbox stated that Funny was headed for a quick trip to Chartsville. Meanwhile, Billboard said that this would put Twitty at the top of the charts. After 3 weeks on the Cashbox chart, Funny would stop at number 47. It really wouldn't get anywhere on Billboard, landing at number 61. Funny would make it onto the Record World chart just before Christmas, December 23rd, 1967, at number 58. Just a month later, it would peak at number 51 on January 13th, 1968. Now, despite all the early praise, the chart performance just wasn't funny. Looking at the other side, we find Working Girl. Let's shine some light on the dead wax. Conway would perform this tune on the Porter Wagoner Show.
The Porter Wagoner Show, starring Porter Wagoner and the Wagon Masters with Speck Rose and Dolly Parton. Special guest Conway Twitty.
Welcome the one and only Conway Twitty. How about it?
The song was a little cut short because of time, or was it? Some say Porter wasn't too comfortable with Working Girl's subject matter. What do you think? Is Working Girl a risque song? Let me know in the comments below. Let's turn our attention to the promo copy of Funny, in all its pink glory. First, we'll get right to the dead wax for you to see. A little harder to see, but there's the one for Gloversville, New York. And the 4-leaf clover shape by the Matrix number on the label. On the other side, looks like someone got some fingerprint goo on here. We can still see the dead wax information good enough. Now, subscribe, because I'll be showing you how to clean up records like this one in the near future. So don't miss it. Subscribe now. Here is the mono cover of Conway Twitty Country. We are getting near the end of the separate mono and stereo releases, but DL4913 has two. DL5000 is where the mono ends. DL5000 was Loretta Lynn's greatest hits album. We have a tree design surrounding Conway Twitty in yellow, and Country in pink. We have Conway sitting backwards in a chair, and if you look between his arms, you'll see that when they cut this picture out, they forgot to change the background here too. This is likely the original background before they cut him out and stuck him on the greenish background. Over on the back, we have some water damage on this. Looking closer, we see an airplane. It's the Twitty bird. We see Conway on the plane and another plane flying in the background. This plane won't be the last. In fact, the plane would get bigger as his popularity grows. Here we have the sleeve of our mono record. Nice orange with the arrow concept. The flip side with the inverted coloring. Very nice. Let's see what we got inside. We got our dead wax numbers. Gotta hit that magic spot where the light and camera let you see it. There you go. First thing that jumps out to me is, where are the run times? And the writers? Not a lot on this label, for some reason. Maybe as they were phasing out the mono, they wanted to spend less time on it? Things Have Gone to Pieces was written by Leon Payne and recorded by George Jones. It made it to number 9 in 1965. Two of the Usual, written by Fred Carter Jr. Now remember when Conway recorded his song A Million Teardrops? That was way back in his rock days. Now Bobby Lewis would take this song and release it as a single, taking it to number 49. But I Dropped It and Life Turned Her That Way are both Harlan Howard tunes. Life Turned Her That Way would first be recorded by Little Jimmy Dickens in 1965. In addition to Conway in 1967, Charlie Pride, George Jones, and Mel Tillis all would record the song. But Mel would go a step further and release it as a single. It would reach number 11 for Mel. Young viewers might be more familiar with Ricky Van Shelton's treatment in 1986. That he took all the way to number 1. Side 2, we have 3 Mickey Jaco credited tunes. Then we have Walk Through This World With Me, another tune we can tie to George Jones. Then we have a Hag-written tune, I Threw Away the Rose. Finally, we have A Wound Time Can't Erase. This tune would make the rounds. In addition to Conway, the tune was also recorded by Stonewall Jackson, Ricky Skaggs, George Jones, and Mo Bandy, just to name a few. Taking a look at the stereo, we see the standard shift downward of the artwork, the catalog number and stereo wording on top, otherwise same as the mono. On the back, we see another carbon copy of the mono. Now let's highlight that dead wax numbers area for you. There, nice and bright. Other than the stereophonic on the top and the 7 added to the catalog number, this doesn't look any different. In fact, they are still omitting runtimes and writers. How odd. Let's flip this over so you can see the dead wax area on side 2. There you go. Time to finish up with our quiz. Who was Conway named after? The answer is C, Harold Lloyd. Lloyd is considered one of the most influential film comedians of the silent film era. So thanks for playing. I gave you an easy one this week. More challenging ones to come, so subscribe. First, I'd like to thank Briella and Jessica for helping me with this episode. Show the girls some love and hit that like button. Also subscribe, and thanks again for watching.